There's not usually anybody on here. Hey everybody, it is Thursday at lunchtime, and I hope everyone's doing awesome. Maybe even you're getting a little bit outside. I know it's not sunny, but it's a really nice day. I went for a walk this morning, and it felt just really good to be outside in some cooler air, so I hope you're all doing well. We're halfway through October, so we are sneaking up on the holidays like crazy.
We are.
We are. So this is Conversations with Bob. Last week we did questions and answers with Bob, so this week we have our special guest, and this is Joe Spurbeck. He is with South Coast Air and Heat. He came out and worked on my air conditioner at the beginning of the summer, and also he's worked on a lot of my friends' stuff and so forth and so on. It's a great company, so I wanted to introduce everyone to South Coast Air and Heat and Joe, and he's going to tell us a little bit about the company and what your specialties are and so forth and so on. So go for it, man.
Absolutely, thank you.
You're welcome.
So Joseph Spurbeck with South Coast Heating and Air Conditioning. Guys, we really specialize in everything to do with your heating and air. Anything that has to do with either repair or replacement, we can be there to support you, whether your needs are just a maintenance, your needs are quotes on replacement maybe because you have concerns or it's an older system, you want something a little more energy efficient. We can key on that. As we're kind of rolling into the winter season. People are starting to turn on their heaters, and in some cases people are noticing that it's dirty. They go to turn it on, it's not igniting, nothing's coming on, they have no heat coming on. They have children, people who are in need of the more comfortable temperature, and we're showing up at their homes, and we're finding ways to get them taken care of. There's it's just important to have that maintenance. There was a few cases where we went to the home, and had they been on a maintenance plan, we might have shown up and we would have been able to find and correct their issues, and they wouldn't have been calling us without that heat. And that's a scenario we're finding right now to be pretty true. Sure. As the season's going to get colder. This is going to be another cold winter like last year.
Really?
Yes, very much so.
So that's crazy. We've gone from extreme heat again. Now we're going to go to extreme cold again, so to speak. Extreme for us, right?
Absolutely.
I grew up in the Chicago area, so nothing's
a little different.
It's a little different, but we still use our air and our heat. So what do you see that normally happens as people transition during the seasons? Like you said, sometimes their units aren't kicking on. Maybe, is there an issue with humidity? I know humidity can play a big role with some of this kinds of stuff. So what are some really common things that happen in people's homes that maybe some of these folks are struggling with?
Common things, when it comes to the heating side, and I'll touch base both on the AC because we're not quite out of the summer yet. We're still going to have some warm days. We just have a bit of a cold spell right now. But on the heating side, guys, typically it's in your attic, it's out of sight, out of mind.
Right.
Rarely do you go up there and look at anything. Right. And anything from dust, cobwebs, spiders, animals. Sometimes you get the little rodents up and you're running through your furnace. Sure. Make a little home. Having somebody in there to make sure that there's no accessible points for the animals to get in, or bugs, cleaning them. Bugs that climb across the electrical components in there sometimes can cause a short on your furnace. Okay. A lot of times we'll go out there and find that that's an issue. I've seen a lot of lizards, unfortunately, and things like that get caught on a capacitor. Yeah. Unfortunately, that costs you money because now you have somebody out there who's got to either replace some major components or maybe some minor components, but it still runs you a couple $100. So having that maintenance can have a large impact on preventative from animals and other things getting up there, and then also just keeping dust and other things out of your system is going to help the unit run much more efficiently. As you're turning on your heat, if you haven't had it cleaned, you're going to notice that you're burning up a lot of dust and maybe hair and debris and stuff like that because it has not been cleaned. You get that funny smell
in the air when you turn it on.
Absolutely, and most of the time that's pretty normal, but there are times where some of that could be a fire hazard. So having somebody out to maintenance it can make a big difference in that. I've seen, we've been in the homes before, they have rollout flame sensors on them, and when that heat first ignites, if the flames are rolling out of the cabinet, it can be a hazard, burning up things. The system will actually shut itself off.
Okay.
That's typically when you're giving us a call because you had 10 seconds of heat, then no heat at all, right? So then we're out there to kind of handle that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. And do you see anything happening in like older homes? Do older homes have more of issues, or is it the age of the system itself that has more issues?
Yeah, I would say the age of the system is going to be your largest concern.
Okay.
You know, as they get older, they absolutely require more maintenance, just wear and tear on the unit from the compressor to all the moving parts within the system.
Mm-hmm.
You just want somebody out there to, you know, kind of grease the wheels, so to speak, right? Somebody who's going to be out there to take care of it. I mean, when you go to the doctor,
Yes.
right, there are things you do to take care of yourself that set you up to be able to perform longer and better,
Right.
so that you don't have back pain, foot pain, things like that. So
For sure.
we want to do the same thing. We want to offer a whole home solution when we come into your house.
Nice.
We don't just want to look at one component or find one problem and say we're done.
Okay.
We come in, we do a full diagnostic on the system so we can understand not just what went wrong right now, but what can we stop, what can we do to stop this from happening in the future, or maybe catch some other opportunities going forward.
Yeah.
So we're going to do a whole home solution and really look at ways to make your AC run better, save you some money on your energy bill, and just ultimately make your home more comfortable for you and your family.
Awesome. That's great. These guys came out during the summertime. Actually the beginning of the summer, in the late spring, our AC wasn't working right, and South Coast Air and Heat was recommended to us, and they came out and checked it out. We had all kinds of stuff going on with our system, and they came out and they take a really good look at it, and they provided a great solution to the issues that we had. They gave us really good service. We trusted them in our home. The prices were very reasonable and fair. So they're just a really, really great company. It's all family owned. It's all local. It's not a franchise from what I understand. Yeah. So it's just a local family doing the best they can to serve their community. And you guys live in Santa Fe, if I remember correctly. So they're from our area here, and you guys had flood damage. So you guys even had Harvey stuff.
We were impacted both at the business level and the personal level with Harvey.
Wow. And how is that coming along for you guys?
It's much better now. I mean, you know, we're a year into it, and a lot of that's kind of turned itself around. We have a new office space, awesome. New vehicles and everything. So we've certainly made a complete 360, awesome. Coming back around on the clean side of that.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad to hear that from your family. And how can people out there, how can they find you guys? How can they find Joe Sperbeck and South Coast Air and Heat?
Yeah, so you can call us anytime. We have 24/7 support for any of your needs. So whatever's going on, if you just have concerns, anything like that, you can call our main line, which is going to be 281-552-8885. You can reach me on my email at joseph@southcoast-ac.com.
Cool.
One of the other, my direct line is going to be 281-612-3861.
And just real quick, what's your coverage area? Do you go all over the Houston area? Are you Southeast Houston? Like, how do you cover the area?
For the most, I mean, look, the reality is we cover the entire Houston market. We really can take care of you no matter where you're at. But most of our business right now is really kind of downtown and south, heading towards Galveston. So we do everything out Bolivar Peninsula, really cover a very large area. Okay,
great. So anybody can find you and have you guys come out to their home.
Absolutely.
Beautiful.
Yes, and I have some questions for you.
You do?
I do.
Yay!
Yes.
Ask away, my friend.
So when somebody, you know, and this is something that I haven't experienced a lot of, but when somebody first comes into your care, how do you determine what kind of work you need to do on them to get them better? I guess, what are you doing to find out what they need? Okay, so that's a great question, because everyone's going to need a little something different. So when somebody calls the office and they talk to the front desk coordinator, she's going to ask them a series of questions. So a lot of times I'll know a little bit about the patient before they come in. I'll know whether they're here for, say, a shoulder issue, or if it's a mom or a dad bringing in a child with some sort of issue. So I'll kind of know a little bit of what's going on prior, so I can prepare a little bit. And then let's say if it's a child that's coming in, we have a pediatric form that the parent's going to fill out. They're going to give us a ton of information, everything all the way back to how the mother was when she was carrying the child, to how the birth was, and then depending on the age, what happened
or what was going on with the kiddo, you know, from birth to when they're coming in now. So we can get a real clear history. Along with that, we're also going to do a physical exam. So I'm going to put my hands on them. I'm going to poke around. I'm going to see how they move, stuff like that. And then we also run a set of scans. And the scans are going to tell us a lot of information about the nervous system. And basically, in a really simple way, the scans just tell us how much stress is in the system. So where is the stress showing up, and how is it showing up in the system? So we're going to correlate those three things and figure out what's going to be best for the kiddo. If it's an adult coming in with, say, stress or anxiety, their intake is going to be very similar. If they're coming in for a sports injury, it's going to look a little bit different, because if, say, it's a shoulder, I'm going to do some range of motion work. I'm going to get in there, I'm going to palpate a little bit. I've worked on your shoulder a bit,
absolutely.
so you know a little bit.
Fantastic.
Thank
Much
you.
Better, yes.
So it'll be more of an orthopedic exam. I'm going to watch them move. I'm going to ask them what their workouts are like, what's their daily life like. So far, are you sitting at a desk? Are you working out 20 times a week? Like, what does that look like? And then we're going to base care on all of those things.
You know, and I think in the traditional sense, at least when I was growing up, I always thought chiropractic care was just for, you know, maybe neck and back pain.
Right.
What are some of the other things that can be impacted positively by having the right kind of chiropractic care?
That's a great quick question, because, you know, chiropractors are starting to be more diversified now. So back in the day, or even today, there's a lot of chiros out there that it's kind of a one and done. You're going to go to them for your neck pain, your back pain, your knee pain,
right,
for everything, right? And some of the trap that I'll say that some people fall into is maybe their kiddo needs some kind of chiropractic care, or maybe someone has said, hey, you should try chiropractic for your kiddo, and the parent will say, well, I go to this guy for my back, so I'll just take my kiddo to my back guy. And we can get into a little bit of trouble with that, because unless the person has been trained in pediatric chiropractic and knows a little bit more about how the kids react and where to adjust and why,
right,
then we can get into a little bit of trouble. But as far as chiropractic care, you know, there's sports chiros out there. There's functional medicine chiros, where they're going to do some blood work, and they're going to work with you on your food and so forth. Now there's more the pediatric. There's chiros that work specifically with pregnant women.
Okay.
Like, so you have a wide swath, and chiropractors are really starting to specialize more. So if you have a specific thing that you're looking for, I would really suggest that you do your research and you find the right person that can cover your bases.
Okay. And one question I had, and I know you do chiropractic work here. Are there any other services or anything that you do nutritionally or anything like that?
I used to do a lot of nutrition. I don't do it so much as more. I don't do as much anymore.
Right.
But if someone asks me about it, I'll definitely talk to them about food and so forth. As you know, I used to own a gym, so I did a lot of nutritional care in the gym, and I was really into paleo diet, and I still am, and some of these types of things. But it's not something that comes up quite as much, right, although I do ask questions about what are you eating, how often are you eating, especially, especially with the kids. Some of the kids having some of these issues. I had a mom bring in her 6-week-old baby, 6 to 10 week old baby today, and he had some gut issues and stuff, so we talked a lot about what she's eating, because mom is nursing.
Right.
So I want to know what mom's eating and so forth. So we were able to cover some of the bases with that. I do a little bit of acupuncture. I do a little bit of cupping, some of these types of things, and a little bit of soft tissue work. So I can cover a lot of bases. I did a lot of sports medicine early in my career, and now I'm transitioning more into family care. So that's why I like to say I like active, committed families.
Absolutely.
I want the parents that come in, they're active, they're doing things, and then kiddos have something going on, so we can kind of cover the bases of the whole family.
So for a lot of patients, and I appreciate all that. That was great information. A lot of patients, when they come in, they are under your care. Are there things that they can do at home to help either recovery or just things to aid in the work that you're doing to make them better and ultimately just be healthier?
Oh, for sure. If they're not sleep is huge. I ask everyone to sleep enough, right?
That's all.
Lots of water, right? I'll send people home with stretches. I do it all the time, or some simple exercises, so that when they're not here, then they're getting benefit out of what was done here.
Absolutely.
Right? Those are the biggies. If it's, again, the kiddos, I'm going to make suggestions on sleep, being able to take them outside and run, let those kids run, let them be in the sun, right? I know people don't like it, but we are all like working dogs. And if we don't have the opportunity to get that energy out of us, whether it's an adult has a passion with AC or chiropractic or whatever, if we don't have that thing to focus on, or the kiddos, if they can't go outside and run and climb and jump, then we're going to be digging holes in the yard just like our dog, so, or eating our couch or not sleeping or whatever the deal is. A lot less screen time for most of us.
Yeah.
Super important.
That's hard to get away from.
It's very hard to get away from with the way our society is set up today and the way I mean, we're on 2 different devices now. We've got the Instagram going, right? And we've got the Facebook going. So it's hard to get away from it. It's all around us. But I think as time goes by, we're going to find more and more that getting away from the technology is going to be super important. So these are the types of hacks and tips and tricks that I give to my patients.
Love it. And guys, I will tell you that myself, my wife, and my son all come here under Dr. Taylor's care, and she is fantastic. My son has ADHD. I had ADHD. I still have ADHD. You kind of never get rid of it. You just kind of try to deal with it. Being under her care, I have seen very large improvements for both myself and my son.
Awesome.
My son his attention span is much better. He's a lot more focused now. We notice, especially when he's having the consistent care. I think one thing that I have learned from Dr. Taylor and just being a part of this is that consistency is really the key here, guys. The more you come, the more successful you're going to be in the healthier living and the benefit. Ultimately, a lot of people want the quick fix. It's not a quick fix. You've really got to come here, put in the effort and the time, and spend time and let her give you the care and the things you need to improve that part of your life that you're trying to improve. But I will tell you that we've had nothing but fantastic care, and I have nothing but wonderful things to say about Dr. Taylor.
Thank you so much. And I did not ask him to say that. Cool. Well, it's been awesome having you here today. Bob, what do you think about Joe?
High five, Bob.
Bob gives you the thumbs up, man. So you guys call South Coast Air and Heat. Thanks again for tuning in to Conversations with Bob. I'll be back next week to do a couple more live informational time. And then on, next Wednesday night on the 24th, I'm doing a Perfect Storm seminar talk. It's Wednesday night at 7 p.m. over in the Tenant Center in the building here. We're going to have food. We're going to have an area for the kids to play, drinks. I'm going to spend about an hour diving deep on some of these issues that our kids have and so forth and so on. So if you can get to that, I'll put a link. I'm going to put a link to my event, and I'm also going to put a link to South Coast Air and Heat. So if you guys need anything, it's awesome having you.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thanks, y'all. Have an awesome
day.
Take care. Let me get this stuff here.